The myth of the nice guy is one of the most pervasive and damaging lies in modern dating. Society conditions men to believe that women want a safe, predictable partner, someone who is always available, endlessly supportive, and eager to please. Men are told that if they're kind enough, attentive enough, and accommodating enough, they'll be rewarded with desire and devotion. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of female attraction. Women may say they want a man who listens to every problem, anticipates every need, and never causes emotional discomfort, but what they respond to on a primal level is something entirely different. The reality is that women are drawn to men who don't revolve around them. They crave the thrill of the chase, the uncertainty of a man whose attention isn't guaranteed. This is the essence of alpha indifference, a quiet, unshakable confidence that communicates, without words, I enjoy you, but I don't need you. Most men get this backward. They believe that by being overly available, overly agreeable, and emotionally dependent, they're proving their worth. But this only leads to one outcome: being taken for granted. Women don't fall in love with men who hand over their power. They're wired to seek strength, and not just physical, but emotional and psychological. A man who is unaffected by her moods, who doesn't panic when she withdraws, who refuses to beg for her attention triggers something deep in her subconscious. It tells her that he is a man of value, a man who cannot be easily controlled. This is why the nice guy so often finishes last, not because he lacks kindness, but because he lacks edge. The truth is, attraction isn't built on comfort. It's built on tension, challenge, and the thrill of the unknown. A woman may appreciate a man who is always there for her, but she desires the man who makes her wonder where she stands. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, it means being centered in your own worth, unshaken by her fluctuations. When a man operates from this place, he flips the script. Instead of chasing her approval, she starts chasing his. And that is where real attraction begins. The foundation of lasting attraction isn't built on grand gestures or constant validation. It's rooted in an unshakable sense of self. Alpha indifference isn't about playing games or pretending not to care. It's the natural state of a man who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it for temporary approval. This mindset communicates something powerful to a woman, that you are complete with or without her. Most men sabotage themselves by becoming too invested too quickly, rearranging their lives to accommodate her whims and mistaking devotion for weakness. But true power lies in emotional sovereignty, the ability to remain grounded regardless of her reactions. When a woman tests you through silence, mixed signals, or emotional withdrawal, the average man panics. He doubles down on attention, seeks reassurance, or worse, lashes out in insecurity. The man who embodies alpha indifference does none of these things. He understands that her behavior is often a subconscious probe, a way to gauge whether he's truly secure or just another orbiter, desperate for her validation. By refusing to react predictably, he disrupts her expectations. He maintains his rhythm, focusing on his goals, engaging with his passions, and treating her presence as a welcome addition, not a necessity. This creates a magnetic pull, because she senses that his emotional stability isn't dependent on her. The magic of this approach lies in its simplicity. You don't need to manipulate or withhold affection artificially. You simply prioritize your own purpose and let her earn a place in your world. When she sees that you're unfazed by her attempts to provoke a reaction, she's forced to either step up or step back. Either outcome works in your favor. She invests more, the dynamic shifts in your direction. She withdraws, you've filtered out someone unwilling to meet your energy. The key is consistency. Alpha indifference isn't a tactic to be turned on and off, it's a reflection of inner confidence. Women can sense when it's genuine versus performative. When it's real, it transforms the way she sees you. You become the man she can't fully unravel. It's the one who keeps her intrigued, not because you're mysterious, but because you're solid. And that's the kind of man she'll never take for granted. The most dangerous misconception in modern relationships is that unconditional emotional support equals attraction. Women don't fall in love with men who serve as emotional caretakers. They fall for men who challenge them. This is where controlled emotional toxicity becomes an art form. It's not about manipulation or cruelty, but about refusing to be a predictable source of validation. When a man is always agreeable, always available, always soothing, he becomes background noise in her emotional landscape. What captures her attention are the moments when you disrupt that expectation, not with anger, but with unshakable boundaries and calculated unpredictability. The foundation of this approach is understanding that women test men constantly, not consciously, but instinctively. They push to see if you'll bend, if your confidence is real or just an act. Most men fail these tests by either collapsing into neediness or overcompensating with aggression. The master of controlled emotional toxicity does neither. When she withdraws, he gives her space without complaint. When she acts entitled, he subtly withdraws his attention rather than lecturing. When she seeks validation through drama, he remains amused but unimpressed. These responses create something far more powerful than blind devotion. They create respect. The magic happens in the contrast between your usual calm indifference and those rare moments when you choose to engage deeply. Maybe it's calling out her nonsense with a smirk instead of comforting her. Maybe it's rewarding good behavior with sudden, intense affection after a period of aloofness. This unpredictability taps into her primal wiring, the same wiring that makes gambling addictive. She never knows exactly what reaction she'll get, which makes earning your approval feel like a victory. The key is precision. Too much toxicity destroys trust. Too little makes you forgettable. The perfect balance keeps her slightly off balance, constantly recalibrating to your frequency rather than you adjusting to hers. Ultimately, this isn't about playing mind games. It's about being a man who refuses to be emotionally manipulated. When she realizes her usual tactics don't work on you, something profound shifts. She either rises to meet your standards or reveals she wasn't worth your energy in the first place. Either way, you win. The relationship dynamic becomes one where she's striving to earn your genuine affection rather than taking it for granted. That's how you transform from just another option into a man she can't forget. Human psychology thrives on patterns, but attraction is sparked by the unexpected. The most magnetic men understand this paradox instinctively. They establish a foundation of consistency in their character and values, but strategically disrupt expectations and how they engage emotionally. This isn't about being erratic or unreliable. It's about mastering the art of emotional contrast. When you're 90% steady and 10% unpredictable, you create an intoxicating push-pull dynamic. Keeps a woman perpetually intrigued. The predictable man becomes invisible over time. She always knows exactly how you'll react if every mood swing gets immediate reassurance. Every test gets the same patient response. Her subconscious registers you as safe, but unexciting. The key is to occasionally break this pattern in ways that command attention. This could mean playfully calling her out when she's being unreasonable instead of automatically comforting her, or suddenly turning intense during a light conversation, locking eyes and saying something raw with quiet conviction. These controlled moments of unpredictability create emotional spikes that imprint on her memory, far more than constant stability ever could. The magic lies in the contrast between your usual composed self and those rare moments when you choose to reveal deeper layers. Maybe after days of lighthearted banter, you share a vulnerable insight at just the right moment. Or perhaps when she expects you to chase after a disagreement, you instead give her space with calm indifference. This calculated unpredictability serves two crucial purposes. It keeps her from taking you for granted, and it satisfies her innate craving for emotional variety. Women don't want robots, they want living, breathing men capable of surprising them in ways that feel authentic yet unexpected. Mastering this requires emotional discipline. The unpredictable moments must feel organic, not forced. They should stem from your genuine reactions rather than some manipulative playbook. When executed properly, this approach transforms the relationship dynamic. She stops seeing you as someone she can control and starts seeing you as someone worth continually discovering. The result? Instead of her interest gradually fading over time, it deepens because you've become not just a partner, but an endless source of fascination, the ultimate litmus test of a man's true power in any relationship isn't how much he's willing to give, it's what he's prepared to walk away from. This final principle separates the truly alpha male from the perpetual nice guy. Most men operate from scarcity, clinging to relationships even when their boundaries are violated, their worth diminished, or their dignity compromised. The alpha indifferent man operates from abundance. He knows his value isn't determined by any single woman's approval. And this quiet confidence permeates every interaction. When a woman senses that you're fully capable of leaving not as a threat, but as a simple matter of self-respect, the entire dynamic shifts. She stops seeing you as someone to be managed and starts seeing you as someone to be earned. This isn't about emotional withdrawal or playing hard to get. It's about maintaining an unshakable commitment to your own standards. The moment she realizes your attention is a privilege rather than a given is the moment she begins to truly value it. This principle manifests in subtle but powerful ways. When she crosses a line, you don't lecture or plead, you calmly distance yourself. When she withdraws affection to test you, you don't chase, you redirect your energy elsewhere. The key is that these aren't tactics, but natural expressions of your self-worth. Women can smell desperation a mile away, just as they can sense genuine emotional independence. The man who walks away from disrespect isn't being cruel, he's demonstrating the highest form of self-love, and paradoxically, this is what inspires both attraction and lasting respect. The beautiful irony: when you reach this level of emotional sovereignty, you rarely need to actually leave. Your willingness to do so creates an invisible boundary that elevates the entire relationship. She becomes more attentive, more considerate, more invested, not because you demanded it, but because she recognizes your value. This is the final piece of the puzzle. True power isn't about control, but about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you'll be fine with or without her. That's the foundation upon which all lasting attraction is built.